this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to make up a flower using the brand new JND479, which is the frost flower. This is a beautiful flower. You can see here it has this wonderful sort of frosty-like centre, and then it has separate petals that fold out. So very simply, you can make an absolutely beautiful flower. And we're also going to team that up with the JND460, which is the Hawthorne die. On the Hawthorne, it just has the beautiful berries on it, but it's all connected, so it looks very loose and very ethereal, but it's actually quite a strong die. So we're going to make up a card just using those two. So I'm going to start first of all by using the JND479 frost flower. So frost flower is one of my flower plates. So it means that in one pass, in one square A6 piece of metal, you will cut all of the 9 pieces, which will make you up to 9 individual flowers, or you can double them up. We'll also give you 2 sets of the centre as well, and it's very simple to use. So I've got a piece of Craft Artist Essential card here in Christmas red. And this has been cut to 5 3/4 by 4 1/8, and you'll get this 4 times from a piece of card. So all we need to do is to tape that down onto the card, and we run that through our die cutting machine, and that will give us these 11 pieces here. So 3 larger, 3 medium, 3 small, and 2 of the centers. So nice and simple. And to fold this up, it's actually very, very simple. I'm going to show you with one piece. So all I do is, as I pick this up, you can see it straight away. So let's move these out of the way so we're just focusing on the flower. And all you do is literally flick down the back piece, which folds up this piece here, and we pinch it. So fold and pinch, fold and pinch. And you can see effectively it gives us a really beautiful 3D flower in a really simple maneuver. We could just add a centre into that. So that's one of the large ones. I'm now going to take one of the medium, because to make up the larger flower, I found the best is to use a large and a medium, which is why you've got 3 of each size. So we're just going to, again, flick it up and pinch. Flick it up and pinch. You can obviously leave these completely flat if you want to. Fold it up and pinch. And I'm going to do one of the smaller flowers and show you how we're going to do that one as well. So I'm just going to flick that up and pinch, up and pinch, going round each of the 5 petals, and very quickly and easily we get them. Now all of these lines cut in one pass, so you're not having to make any cuts or anything. All of these little cuts are done. So there are our 3 pieces. So all I want to do to start with is to take a little bit of the glue glaze, which is the best thing for gluing these down, pop it in the centre, and I'm simply going to rotate the medium size onto the small, take my pokey tool and push it down in the centre. And you can see there it gives you a really multifaceted flower in one simple pass. For the smaller flower, all I do to that is literally add a dewdrop. So I'm using some of the Craft Artist dewdrops here. You could use a gem, you could use a sparkle gem. But I think this way you get 3 larger flowers and 3 smaller flowers, which is just perfect for an arrangement, certainly from one piece of card. And we're simply going to use our pickup tool, pick it up and pop it in the middle. I would recommend glue glaze for this, as it's quick drying. And so that white will go very quickly and they will go completely clear, just like this one here. So for the centre, all we need to do on this is turn it to its side, and again, use glue glaze. You want a flat glue on this, and I'm just going to touch the wand along, making sure there's glue on the ends, and then take either your standard tweezers, or one of the best ways to do this is with your reverse tweezers. I need to find mine, and we just take the first section and we just roll, and you'll see why it's easier to use reverse tweezers on this. And we're just simply rolling it up against my finger or against the table until we have a nice tight roll. just like that. You can see why I use glue glaze, because that's already sealed and dry. We would simply then, again, take our larger flower, pop some glue glaze in the centre, and pop our centre in, and it's exactly sized to fit it. So just like that, and you would leave that to dry for about 10 minutes is all it takes with the glue glaze. If you're using a normal PVA glue, I would leave them almost overnight, to be fair, to get them nice and sealed. So here's one that I've got that's dried, and all I'm going to do now is just use my fingers. You can use your pokey tool or your tweezers and pull out all the little sections there, and it just fills up with the same sort of spikes, that centre, giving us a beautiful world centre in there. So to do that, obviously I have some pieces already made. So here I have 3 of the large made and 3 of the small, which is what I would get from one piece of card. I would need to add, however, one more centre, so you can cut an extra centre from that. Nice and simple. So there are our flowers made and done. So next we need to cut our hawthorn, and again I'm going to take an A6 piece of card, which is roughly again 5 3/4 by 4 1/8, and I'm going to take my JND460 hawthorn die and just pop those down nice and simply, and again they'll just nicely cover an A6 piece of card. Take some of our low tack tape, put that down. Make sure when you're using multiple dies that you really burnish it. It's not something that we would normally do with normal low tack tape. With craft artist tape you can really make sure that it's adhered like that, and we'd simply run that through our machine, and that will give us these 4 pieces here. So we get 2 large, one going left and one going right, and 2 small again, left and right. And to add the berries, I'm going to use the Craft Artist Pearl Dimension in red. And all I do is check, squeeze out to make sure it's working first. And to do the drops on this, you want to almost squeeze, form a drop, and drop it onto where each berry stands. So nice and simple. Might take a little while to get used to it, but once you're used to the manoeuvre. So if you can see, I'm forming the berry. I will take the next one and show you one a little bit closer, and just adding a little berry onto each of those ends. And because it's die cut, it kind of it stops it running over the edge. If I pull up this larger one in front of the camera, you'll be able to see a lot better. What I do is I form the berry and I kind of drop it on. So I'm dropping each one on. I'm not squeezing it onto there, I'm almost squeezing it in the air and dropping each one on, just like that. So I'll just finish this one off because it is obviously a lot easier on the flat. And these are self-leveling, so these will round, and these you don't have to worry about adding anything onto them. You don't have to sort of tamper the top or anything. They will level themselves into a domed dot. And drying time is, for touch dry to use, is about an hour to stick them on carefully to make sure that they're completely sealed and finished. I leave them overnight, so I do these last thing at night, ready for the next day. So I've got here 2 of the larger ones which have already been done, and you can see here they've just domed perfectly and look like berries that you've got on there. And I've cut this in our tea coloured card. So I've got a card blank here, so we're going to make up our card just using our flowers and our hawthorn. So we'll bring that in, and I've just used here the Argyle embossing folder. I love this. I think it really works as sort of Christmas but not, and it's festive without being too over the top. And I've made up a little double bow in red and white striped baker's twine. Again, this is a Crafts 2 product. So what I'm going to do is start with my hawthorn, and I want this stuck really well. So you could use your fine glue applicator. I'm just putting a few blobs on. I'm not worried because this dries clear and matte. So I'm going to go on one side, and the card blank I've got has been made using the new Christmas JND or John Next Door Frame It dies, which are the rectangular versions. So here we have the 7x5 half-inch frame, and here we have the 7x5 1-inch frame. Gives a lovely stepped look there, and this has just been put onto a 6x8 top fold card blank, but obviously you could use this directly onto your 5x7 commercially bought cards because it's sized at exactly 5x7. So I'm just going to add a little bit more glue, and I'm going to spray across from one side to the next, not gluing every berry so they're nice and loose. I'm then going to add some glue to the middle of my bow, and we're going to add that in. And again, if you're not a floral person, you could leave that at this stage, and you could leave that just with that bow in there, and don't worry, that glue will dry clear and matte, you won't see it, but will leave you an absolutely beautiful card. But I want to add my flowers, so I'm going to add my flower and we'll add one in the center. I'm then going to take another one and I'm going to tuck it in off to one side. I'm going to add a third down here as if they're cascading down the card, and I can add and tuck in, if I want to, my little ones, just to try and keep that idea going. I think we'll go on there, just where that is. So you can see there, I've got my little spray of the beautiful frost flowers along with the hawthorn and the bow made with our frame maker dies. So a beautiful, evocative, very winter focused without being too festive or Christmas card. So a great one to send for thinking of you at Christmas or something like that. And that's been made simply using the JND479 frost flower and the JND460 hawthorn. For more ideas, hints, tips and inspiration, why not visit the Crafting with John Next Door and Crafts 2 group on Facebook. Enjoy.